Hey, I'm Tatiana, a visual artist, creativity coach, and your meditation guide here at Brush and Breath. And if you've been carrying something heavy lately, it could be grief, or fear, or overwhelm, this compassion meditation is here to keep you company. We won't be trying to fix anything or bypass anything. We'll be learning how to be near difficult emotions, how to be near them with kindness and with steadiness. You can think about it as a metaphorical hand on the back. If that speaks to you, stay with me to the end and let this be a practice in becoming friends with yourself. First, find a comfortable seat. Could be chair or cushion. Anything that lets your body feel supported. Let your shoulders soften. Let your hands rest naturally. And if it feels safe, close your eyes or soften your gaze towards the floor. And notice the simple fact that you're being supported right now by the seat beneath you, by the floor beneath your feet. You can notice the air in your skin, the weight of your own hands in your lap. And take one slow inhale through the nose and a long, easy exhale. And again, breathing in and breathing out. And let yourself fully arrive. There is nothing to prove here today. Nothing to perform. Just this breath, this body, and this moment being fully met. And now, bring your attention inward to your heart point. And notice what feels tender today. It doesn't need to be particularly dramatic, not what you think should count as suffering. Just what feels hard or uneasy. Maybe it's loneliness, maybe disappointment, or maybe a quiet ache you can't quite name yet. And if everything feels relatively steady, you can still notice the subtler places. Maybe it's a strain, the tiredness in your body, the pressure, or that place inside of you. It's been carrying way too much for way too long. And without judgment, simply notice, where does it show up in your body? Maybe in your throat or your chest or the jaw. Or behind your eyes. There is no need to explain it or resolve it. Try to make it different than it is. We just keep noticing. This is here. And perhaps this is uncomfortable right now. If it feels supportive, I invite you to place one hand over your heart and one hand over your belly. Or let your hands simply rest in your lap. And then imagine a gentle, supportive hand right between the shoulder blades. It's not pushing you. It's not trying to lift you out of your misery. It's just here. Sensation of warm hand on your back. Steady, warm, unhurried. Satisfying feeling of being accompanied in life. And let that imagined presence say, I'm here. I'm staying. And compassion is often much quieter than we expect. Sometimes it's simply the willingness not to leave. Not to leave the body. Not to leave the moment. Not to check out. Now begin offering yourself a few simple phrases of compassion, but not as pressure or command, just as warm company, silently, softly. I'm here. May I be tender with this. May I remember that I do not have to carry this alone. And again, I'm here. May I be tender with this. May I remember that I do not have to carry this alone. I'm here. May I be tender with this. May I remember that I do not have to carry this alone. Notice if anything in your body responds. Maybe it's tears. Maybe it's resistance. Maybe it's a little more space. Or maybe it's nothing. And all of that is perfectly okay. Compassion doesn't actually need to feel big or dramatic to be real. Sometimes it's simply the difference between sensation being resisted and sensation being gently accompanied. And now, without losing contact with yourself, imagine making a little more room around that sensation. Not making it bigger, not trying to shrink it, just letting it breathe. As if it's sitting in a bigger room. As if there is more fresh air around it. You might imagine laying a warm cloth over something bruised. And again, not to try to rush it into healing. Just a sensation of warmth, of close contact, of genuine care. Or like sitting beside someone you love when they're distressed or physically sick. Not interrupting, not trying to make this moment more efficient, just staying. Sometimes compassion is not a solution or rescue. but open presence. Slowly, we'll let our awareness widen. Not away from sensation completely, but into the larger field that holds it. Remember that this hurt is not yours alone. Right here in your neighborhood, in this very moment, there is a single mother trying to soothe a crying child while navigating her own exhaustion. There is someone smiling politely while carrying a grief that perhaps no one around them can see. And there is someone somewhere staring at the ceiling, wondering how to keep going. And let the circle keep widening. Remembering that our lives do not happen separately. Everything we touch comes through countless conditions. The foods that we eat, the clothes we wear, the electricity, the packaging, the things we order, use, replace, discard. All of it passes through other hands, other bodies, other landscapes, other lives. What leaves our sight does not leave the web of cause and effect. Some of what we consume becomes someone else's burden. Some of what we throw away is sorted, dismantled, burned, and absorbed far from where we live, by hands we will never shake, in communities that carry the costs that they didn't choose to. And all of this is not to make you guilty, just to open your eyes a little bit. To remember that we belong to one another much, much more than we're usually willing to admit. Nothing arises on its own, and nothing we do in this world is without causes, conditions, or consequences. Our comforts ripple outward. Our suffering ripples outward. And our love and care ripples outward too. And that's when compassion becomes more natural. When we stop pretending that we're separate. Try to offer compassion not only for yourself, but for all beings. All those who are heartbroken, all those who are frightened, all those whose labor, bodies, or lives carry all the costs often unseen by others. And offer them these phrases. May they be held. May they feel less alone. May they be protected and cared for. May compassion grow. May they be held. May they feel less alone. May they be protected and cared for. And may compassion grow. May they be held. May they feel less alone. May they be protected and cared for. May compassion grow. And when you feel complete, let that wider field of humanity soften into the background and return back to the sensation of your own body. The seat beneath you, the feet on the floor, the breath moving in and out. And notice the room around you. Notice if anything at all feels slightly different. Perhaps not resolved or dramatically shifted. It may be a little more spacious, a little more welcoming. And let that be enough for today. Compassion practice does not need to get rid of all the discomfort, all the pain and suffering at once to matter. And to close it off, ask yourself, what would it look like to carry this compassion into the rest of today? Maybe through a single act of care, or a moment of saying very clearly who is being affected by your actions. And let that be enough. Take one slow breath in and one slow breath out. Begin to invite small movements back into the body. Your fingers, toes, shoulders. And if your eyes are still closed, let them open. Thank you so much for practicing. And may this compassion practice keep opening and softening your being. And if you know someone whose heart feels heavy right now, you might send this to them. See you next time.